The timing of a meeting with top congressional leaders on the debt limit set for 24 hours from now in the Oval Office. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy still pushing for spending cuts.
So we'll have that debate, right? He's happy to have that debate. But when it comes to the debt ceiling, when it comes to the debt limit, they got to do their job.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the president still wants the debt limit raised without conditions, with a separate process for the budget, and thinks he can convince McCarthy to change his position. The White House also accusing Republicans of playing politics with immigration instead of passing solutions, while the administration claims it has a robust multi-agency plan to deal with the end of a pandemic-era limit on asylum seekers. That's expected to lead to a new surge later this week.
This falls on the president. This is absolute dereliction of duty, but it also falls on the feet of Congress.
Republican presidential candidate Nikki Haley says they've all known that Title 42 was ending. New regulations would require more compensation over flight disruptions.
If it's the weather, we're out of luck on a canceled or delayed flight. But if an airline causes a cancellation or delay via a tech or maintenance issue or lack of crew, it would be on carriers to cover rebooking, meals, hotels, and transportation.
Our top priority has been to get American air travelers a better deal.
President Biden announcing the proposal amid criticism over widespread flight disruptions last summer, as well as technology outage cancellations.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. A mixed finish on Wall Street. The Dow down 55 points at the closing bell. It had been down more than 100 at one point during the session, though. The S&P and the NASDAQ finishing higher. America is listening to Fox News.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
Newsmax is conducting an urgent poll asking if it was right for Fox News to fire Tucker. Do you want Tucker back on TV? Let us know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text us now. Text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard. Text RESPOND to 39747. Millions made the switch to Newsmax. You can too. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
An attorney for former President Trump makes his closing statement in a civil sexual assault trial in New York.
Author and former advice columnist E. Jean Carroll sued former President Trump in civil court alleging battery and defamation. She says Trump raped her in a Bergdorf Goodman department store changing room in the 90s. The former president has said she's lying. His attorney, Joe Tacopina, told jurors Carroll did not scream out or call for help, never told police, and said this scenario was the exact same one from a Law and Order episode. And Carroll just filed this years later for political reasons. He also dismissed the testimony of two other women who said the former president previously assaulted them as well, saying their stories have nothing to do with whether or not Carroll is believable. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
An attorney for Carroll telling the jury Trump wants them to believe everyone but him is lying. In Colorado,
It is not possible during this strike. The Guild is seeking viewership transparency from streamers, increased wage floor, and protections against mini rooms and the use of artificial intelligence. Abbott Elementary and Cobra Kai are among the shows halted by the strike. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Recapping Wall Street, the Dow finishes down 55. The S&P and the NASDAQ higher as Wall Street awaits the newest report on inflation tomorrow. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana and vicinity. Boy, it was an active one over the past 36 hours. Several bands of showers and thunderstorms, bringing an inch and a half to as much as 2+ inches of rain in a corridor from Bloomington normal southeast towards Terre Haute, including clipping a good part of central and southern Champaign County and points on southward. Not to mention, boy, that very turbulent and chaotic-looking sky and large golf-walled baseball-size hill, particularly around that Chatham area. In any event, still a busy one underway with some showers and thunderstorms this morning. They'll take a break, come back in scattered fashion this afternoon. Highs to 79 as winds turn south-southwest. Showers and thunderstorms in scattered fashion this evening. Lows down to 56. Sun returns for the day tomorrow. Less humid air, the high to about 73. Sunny 77 on Wednesday. Warm up to 82 on Thursday. Then a couple of more rounds of showers and thunderstorms Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. High temperatures right around 80 degrees. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm Peter Olchis, Greg Soldier.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny. Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over.
I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielema.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack Dogs.
Thunderstruck. Yeah, Thunderstruck.
Hey, what's up? It's The Drive with Sam Piper.
Whoa.
I am back. Derek Piper, Lante, Kyle Tosk, ESPN Radio, 93.5. Good to be back off of vacation.
Yeah, 6 days off. You forgot what you were doing.
I did a little bit. We'll really find out how much I forgot as we go along throughout this show. I have not forgotten that the Cardinals and Cubs do battle tonight.
Yes, they do.
In Wrigley.
Yes.
And, Lon, our St. Louis Cardinals, boy.
Woo! Just want to let everybody know Al Horford is 36 years old.
Still doing it.
Makes about 8 threes a game against the Sixers. That was I was complaining before the show started. Sorry.
That's okay. James Harden had a huge
Yeah, he did. He's
bucket late there.
He was
yesterday.
unbelievable in game 1, non-existent in 2 and 3, unbelievable in game 4. So we'll see. We'll see what I'm actually enjoying that series. I've watched every game but the blowout that Boston laid on the Sixers. I shut that off quick. But I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying hockey. Got some new, fresh Florida Panthers are in there. I mean, this is kind of a fun.
The Kraken?
I'm not happy with that. You know that. You know I don't like.
Another expansion team?
Yeah, the expansion team that's just, oh, here you go. You're an expansion team. Go win the cup. I mean, it's not supposed to be that way. But anyway, they're beating up on the Stars, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah, since you've left, let's see. I've been to a Kenny Chesney concert.
How was that?
It was incredible. The guy just brings it every time. And Wilson Contreras is no longer our catcher.
All right, yeah.
What in the hell is going on?
I've been steaming over this, and I've been ready. Yesterday was the realization. Well, I guess the news came out Saturday, and then it got backtracked a little bit. Oh, actually, he's not going to play the outfield. He's going to play DH and try to figure things out behind the plate. Not in game, but yesterday was the realization of I need to be back on the radio so I can talk about this.
Exactly.
It's one of those storylines that's like, all right, let's get back in here. Let's turn the mics on and let's have this conversation because it's one that has me a little riled up, I'll be honest.
Doesn't it feel like we're blaming everybody but the proper people?
Yeah.
I mean, John Mozeliak and Michael Gersh, I love how we never bring Gersh up. I don't even know what he does as the general manager. The face of that franchise is obviously Mozeliak. It kind of worked hand in hand with the Cubbies for years with Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer. You didn't even. It's like we never saw Jed, And then all
you know
of a sudden,
who the guy is calling the shots and doing all that.
Yeah, it's John Mozeliak. That's
Exactly.
correct. So it's let's don't blame ourselves. Let's don't look in the mirror for the idea that we didn't go get help on this pitching staff and such. And then it's Oli Marmol. Well, let's don't blame Oli because, you know, what it's not like a manager's that important in baseball. That's what I've always heard, except he's the one pulling the triggers on everything that goes wrong. And I mean everything has gone wrong. You could not ask for anything else to go wrong for the Cardinals. I don't know. I think they've lost in every conceivable way in only a month. So it's unbelievable. But yet I don't hear any rumblings about Oli Marmol. John Mozeliak then comes out and says, well, we know the problem. Wilson Contreras doesn't know how to call a game. So he's no longer our catcher. He's just going to play the outfield and DH. And we're going to put Andrew Kisner, who's hitting all of about 150 for the 90th year in a row, we're going to put him behind the plate and then call up somebody not named Ivan Herrera, who we've heard about for 3 years. And the other guy is like Para or something.
Uh-huh.
That's where you're at with the Cardinals. This is the biggest, you know the word that I usually say before show? I tweet it out a lot. Shoot show, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I've heard one of
Rhymes with something Pete Rose did a lot of, hitting. This is exactly what has turned out in St. Louis. And right when you thought it couldn't get any weirder, this happens. So I'm with you. I couldn't wait to get on the radio to be like, what is happening? I mean, you can be bad, right? They have gotten a hall pass for a long time. The Cardinals have not been brutally bad in a long time. I'm talking since the 90s, and it wasn't fun a couple of those years. It's okay to be bad. It's not, but just be bad. Just go lose games. Now you're the laughing stock of baseball because you're throwing your $80 million guy. Like you're throwing him now under the bus. Like, well, Wilson Contreras doesn't know how to catch a game. So, I mean, they didn't say that, but essentially they're saying that. So now instead of just being bad, now you're bringing it upon yourself that you're bad, and someone that is a fan of the Oakland A's is actually looking at that going, wow, I thought we were bad. That's a dysfunctional franchise. When has it ever been? Well, it is now. And now
That's
you get
the
3
point,
games at
isn't it?
Wrigley and 3 games at Fenway.
It's jarring enough to see them at 11-24 in the standings, the worst record in the National League, a team that's picked to win the NL Central going in, coming off a season in which they won 93 games.
Yeah.
So that's hard enough for a Cardinals fan to stomach. But yeah, like you said, the dysfunction.
It's weird.
Just how amateur this thing has been handled.
That's a perfect word. How good was Yachty?
Yachty was really good.
I mean, Derek Gould wrote that. He's like, if you've ever questioned whether Yachty Molina was a Hall of Famer, look at what's happening in St. Louis right now.
It's a good point. But Yachty was an average catcher. He was below average last year.
Mm-hmm.
He only played in 78 games on a team that won 93. Now, most of that was beating up on what was a bad NL Central. And what happened last year? You had to go out and get pitching. You had to get Montgomery and Quintana mid-season, who turned out to be pretty much
your top 2.
Maybe your top 2 pitchers down the home stretch to where the Cardinals made the push to win that division. So it's like, okay, if you're doing your job as someone building the roster and getting the right talent on the pitching staff, it's not like Yachty who had, because we're also now getting into this whole thing with, well, Contreras doesn't have the familiarity with these pitchers, so how's he going to get that when he's not catching?
Right.
The 2 best pitchers you brought in had zero familiarity with Molina, and Molina wasn't even catching all that often last year. So it's just, you're dump trucking all this blame onto Wilson Contreras when it's where's the blame for the pitchers?
No.
Where's Mozeliak coming out and saying it's time for Jack Flaherty to pitch like an ace in a contract year? And here he's sitting there with a 6+ ERA, and the guy I just gave an extension to, Miles Michaelis, can't strike anybody out, so he keeps getting hit all over the yard. And they don't have any. Their bullpen stinks.
It is.
Their pitching stinks.
They don't have any out pitches. We can't strike anybody out.
And that's part of what's been fundamentally wrong with this rotation is that they don't have a whole lot of swing and miss in that starting 5.
They don't. It's
and
horrific.
You didn't put together a rotation that had that.
Yep.
That's part of the assembly of the pitching rotation. And there's just so many ways where this is frustrating. And beyond that,
Jordan Hicks, we can't even send him down.
No.
That's how goofy this is.
He can't throw strikes. Flaherty doesn't throw enough strikes.
Flaherty's more worried about everything else. What he puts on his shoes, what he says afterwards. I'm sorry, I'm just cutting to the chase. Enough of that. Enough. If you're out here doing your great things and you're earning your contract, then you be as talkative as you want to be about issues outside of baseball. Until you're good at baseball, quit with that. Worry about pitching. That's what we pay you for. Not we, you and I.
Yeah.
And if anybody else did it, I'd say the same thing. And I don't care what the message is. I don't care. Just worry about pitching. Miles Mikolas needs to worry about quit wearing your cowboy hat and your cowboy boots and dancing around and doing karaoke and meeting everybody for a high five in the club. Just go pitch. Just go do your job. Pitch and win. Thank God we have Jordan Montgomery.
Yeah.
Steven Matz was he was an
stinks.
injured whatever last year, and now he's just bad.
He just had one good year. He had like one good season the year before he comes to the Cardinals.
Yeah, it worked out great.
And then he gets a nice contract, and now he can't throw all that well. And that's another one of these. There's been a lot of signings for Mozeliak that have been complete duds. And
They
he's
really
another
have
one.
been. They really have
And that's
been.
just adding to the resume. I understand that John Mozeliak's not going to come out and take all the blame. He's
No.
not going to do that. I'm not expecting that to happen. Ollie Marmol's not going to do that. But just to give it all to Contreras, which
they're
inadvertently or very purposely, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's so early. I know that things aren't that early as far as the season. The Cardinals have to turn this thing around or it's going to be a lost cause.
Yeah.
But to make this much of a knee-jerk reaction and to come – and I think what I hated, number one, was that I don't agree with the move, first and foremost, but the way that it was handled to where on a Saturday you're saying – Ollie Marmol is saying he's going to play DH and then platoon in the outfield. The very next day, they're saying, "Oh wait, forget about the outfield.
Yeah, we're
thing.
not playing him in the
We were just
outfield."
kidding."
Yeah.
And then there was a report by the Athletic that they sat down with Contreras. Sounds like he didn't want to play the outfield. Still wants to catch, and they retracted that. So how come this was not handled better in house to where you figured this whole thing out and you're not alienating and, for lack of a better way to say it, pissing off your big free agent signing? And there's two ways of going about this. If Contreras is that bad behind the plate, you messed up majorly by giving him $18 million.
Can he be that bad?
I don't think so.
Kyle, you're a Cubs fan. Is he that bad?
Not as bad as they're making him out to be. I mean, you had to know when you signed him. The reason the Cubs didn't give him $87 million is because his biggest weakness is game calling. But to say you're not catching anymore 1 month into your contract is a joke.
You severely overpaid for him if he's a DH.
Oh, horribly. You don't have these. You don't have the payrolls that L.A. or New York or some of these. Well, now the Mets, especially. You don't have the payroll to just go spend $80 million on a DH.
No, not in for a guy that hits 270 with on a good year, 20 to 25 home runs. You can find that a lot of places to DH.
Well, and then basically you're just throwing an automatic out in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly.
By throwing Kisner out there.
Yes.
I mean, if Waino's pitching, I'd almost DH for Kisner and let Waino hit. I'm being serious. I think I would.
I've been very vocal about Andrew Kisner.
He's horrible.
He's so bad. They don't have even a decent second option at catcher to where you're moving Contreras out of this position. It's crazy. It's too much of a. They've put too many eggs in the we're just going to DH you now, and it's been too public. It's been too much of a knee jerk, and I think it's dumb. I think it's a really dumb move, and just the lack of blame other places. Like, why is it Contreras' fault that Hicks and Flaherty don't throw enough strikes?
Right.
Why is it Contreras' fault that Miles Mikolas is too hittable?
Yep. Is he calling balls on purpose? Like, is he like telling Jordan Hicks, give me a slider way outside? I mean, he's not doing that. I mean,
now, does he have some flaws behind the plate? Like, yeah.
Sure. But if you're getting it's just all so weird. Like the fact that every one of these, like every big hit against the Cardinals this year have come with 2 strikes. It's just really weird. Can I ask you this? Can I try to be a Cardinals sympathizer for 1 second? Yadi Molina played what, 21 years?
Yeah.
Is it fair that maybe the Cardinals about halfway through that just said, well, we don't have to develop the catcher for a while? But
of course.
It's not, though, because I've been hearing about Ivan Herrera. You had the young man that you traded to the Arizona
Carson
Diamondbacks, who I don't think has turned out to be that good. I mean, I guess you were just, well, we know you're incredibly lucky to have a guy like Yadi Molina play for you for 20, 21 years. But it's almost as though, oh, crap, he's not coming back. Oh, no, now what do we do? Oh, well, let's go sign Contreras. How about this? Quit signing Cubs. Because the last time you did it, you felt like you had to sign Dexter Fowler, who was a center fielder that you needed and was one of the best in the game, especially available. And then he was a thud. He had like one good year. And now if Contreras is off to this rip-roaring start where after a month he's not even catching anymore, I mean, quit signing
I just
Cubs.
don't know how you equate what's gone on with the pitching staff to it's Wilson Contreras.
It's Mozeliak.
It's something you can
saving his,
yeah, because you can't go, well, we're just going to go out and get 4 new starters right now.
Right.
He's going to try to save it. I personally, I've been against John Mozeliak for
you have.
At least after
I'm on that side now.
I've talked about down the stretch of last year that wasn't good enough just to win the NL Central. It wasn't good enough just to get to the playoffs and this whole kind of deal. And that's what's been, and I understand why Cardinals fans and why you've been vocal of at least giving him the benefit of the doubt for another season of saying, okay, we've been spoiled by this consistency. This is a pretty good bar to set, and then you keep getting to the postseason, and then you hope that you do go on those runs. And it's hard to, I'm not calling for, well, the Cardinals should win the World Series every year. No, I'm not going to do that.
Well, it hasn't been this bad.
Right. But he's been able to hide behind, well, they win 80-plus games a year.
Yeah.
They don't have the down years that a lot of franchises do, and they are at least in contention to win the division every season. They get to the playoffs more likely than not. And now that it's a complete dumpster fire, it's very public out there now. I don't think John Mozeliak can survive this unless it turns around. I don't think Ollie's going to, and I don't think Mozeliak will at the end of it. I think Ollie, we've seen so many examples, even Joe Girardi last year for the Phillies, a team that was expected to be a lot better than they were. They were pretty poor the first month and a half of the season. He gets canned, and that's usually the let's try to light a fire under this team. If it doesn't really change in the next 2 weeks, I don't think Ollie makes it through May. He shouldn't.
I am shocked that he's still here. As bad as this is gone. I'm shocked that Ollie Marmol is still a manager. I truly am. Mozeliak, I don't know. I almost feel like he's in DeWitt's back pocket. And I'm with you. If nothing else, it's time for a fresh start. I mean, they're saying the same thing in New York with Brian Cashman. It's just time for a kind of a fresh start. But Ollie Marmol, why is he still managing this team? Do we not have anybody capable of filling in? I mean, taking over? I don't know. I mean, Skip Schumacher would have been perfect. But I say perfect. I don't know that he would have been perfect, but he's doing a decent job.
Would have been a popular fan hire.
He would have been. He would have been.
Respected guy. Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know if you fire Marmol by the end of May, who do you go get? I don't know. I mean, you don't.
The problem with the Cardinals is they only look in their own backyard.
That's right. So what's in there? Stubby Clapp? I don't even know who manages AAA. I should, but I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
It's just it's weird, but I don't. It's almost as though like, I mean, again, this coming out now, you've made yourself a laughingstock by what you're doing with Contreras. Like
I think so.
Marmol early in the year didn't quite know how to handle the Tyler O'Neill thing. Was Tyler O'Neill running hard around third? No. Could that have just stayed in the dugout probably or in the clubhouse? Yeah. And now all of a sudden, now you've got Mozeliak and Marmol coming out saying, well, we're just going to make him a DH. And it's almost like there's all these fires going on. These major fires are going on, and you're going around getting the one that's barely lit.
Yeah. If your other catcher was Mike Matheny, when you had Mike Matheny and Yadi Molina on the same team, if that was your other option, I could understand it. If we had a respectable second option at catcher who could hit 250 and be pretty darn good behind the plate, I'd understand that. It's Andrew Kisner who's going to hit 150, maybe. Maybe. And if his rapport was so good with Waino, how come he got tagged around for 5-6 runs on Saturday?
Ben Johnson is the manager of the Memphis Redbirds.
Isn't he the head coach of the Minnesota Golden Gophers for basketball?
This is what he does in the summer.
Well, he's probably better at that than he is in Minneapolis.
Played for the Mets, played for the Padres. That's all I know. Yeah, it's bad.
Here's another thing, too, what we didn't hear in what's getting attributed to why the Cardinals aren't playing up to their standard. The fielding is totally different. The previous 4 seasons, I was looking up some of your favorite analytics.
Oh, yeah.
Runs saved.
Yes.
As far as MLB.
Now, I know what these are, these numbers, but I'll let you go ahead and say it.
So the previous 4 seasons, and this is just, you could, even without looking into the analytics, you would know that the Cardinals have been, look at the Gold Gloves. One of the best defensive teams in the game the last at least 5 years.
Yep.
The last 4 years, they've been top 5 in the league in runs saved defensively. You've had Edman, who's a Gold Glover. You've had, obviously, Nato, who's a Gold Glover.
Goldie,
yep.
Gold Glover.
Even Tyler O'Neill won.
Yeah, he did.
This year, they're like 26th.
Wow. So how does that all of a sudden
So you're not having the same type of fielding success for a pitching staff that's getting hit around. You're not having the, like, we've seen Nato make errors. We've seen errors up the middle. We've seen right field obviously was part of Jordan Walker's issues.
There's no doubt.
Alec Burleson's not very good out there either.
Nope.
So you're not having the same type of defensive squad, but then again, we're just putting on Contreras' plate. And even for like the line that says, we've had expectations of certain levels of preparation. I know some of that came out about Contreras with Chicago too, but I think also we're kidding ourselves if we're going to say that Cubs rotation on paper last year, like an aging Kyle Hendricks. We've got Stroman, who wasn't as good last year as he is this year. Steele, who hadn't quite broken out. Like that wasn't a rotation that was supposed to be all that good.
No.
So when they had a high ERA, it was Contreras. And now when you look on paper, this Cardinals rotation shouldn't be that good.
No,
it's not that good.
It's not a very good rotation. It's just not.
And I read a line, one more thing to add on to this. I read a line from Ken Rosenthal, who wrote about this for The Athletic today, and he was kind of poking fun at the Cardinals, which I think this is part of it too. Sean Murphy, who got traded to the Braves. And the Cardinals John Mozeliak has jumped around on who's on the no-trade list. It was Dylan Carlson, middle of the season last year. There's no way we'd give Dylan Carlson away to get Juan Soto.
Right.
And then this offseason was Lars Nootbaar. We couldn't part with Newt to get Pablo Lopez or Sean Murphy, the catcher from the Oakland A's, and Murphy's a Gold Glover. But one, I think, false equivalency that's being made.
3 minute stations.
3 minutes.
Yeah, they never heard me say false equivalency, something that profound. So they're like, 3 minutes, got to catch a break. But he's like, look at the Braves ERA compared to the Cardinals. The Braves have Max Fried, Spencer Strider.
Oh, it's not even, you shouldn't even.
You can't even make that comparison. There's no ace in this rotation.
Correct.
So the fact that the Cardinals aren't having that many quality starts because there's not that many quality starting pitchers.
No.
That's just something that you can't.
And Libertor's down doing some good things in Memphis. They send
better
Zach
be
Thompson.
good, man.
Well, they send Zach Thompson down, essentially saying, all right, we just want you to start preparing for next year to be a starter. So next year you may have Libertor and Zach Thompson as your top 2 from the left side, and hopefully Jordan Montgomery. You might be
You'll have Michaelis.
You might be full of lefties next year, along with Michaelis and I don't know. You still got Matz next year, right? You could have Matz, Montgomery, Libertor, and Thompson. You could have 4 lefties in your starting lineup next year, which is really strange. But especially for the Cardinals, that's really strange.
They can throw two-handed for all I care if they strike somebody out.
It's just, I don't know. It's not good. It just isn't good.
It's too bad Flaherty, like for his first 3 starts, you saw his ERA like 1.25. And like, even though those that have watched or saw his walk numbers, like he's just a ticking time bomb waiting to blow up. And now his ERA is sitting there at like 6.5. Ideally, he'd be someone that pitched well enough to get traded at the deadline. We know he's not coming back to St. Louis.
No.
I wouldn't think. I don't want him back in St. Louis.
I don't either.
But I don't think his value is going to get there. There's still plenty of time to turn this thing around. We'll see if the Pirates can hold at the top of the division.
I mean, thankfully, everybody else has been horrible, essentially, in your division of late. The Brewers have lost.
Years, yeah.
I'm sorry, but even this year, recently.
Oh, recently.
Right? The Brewers lost 6 straight. Pirates have lost 7 of 8. The Reds weren't winning. The Cubs
have cooled off some.
They're 500. I mean, you look. This is a perfect, and then we can take a break because we do need to start bringing Kyle in and talking about this Cubs-Cardinals series. Now that we've got it off our chest. I mean, if you're ever going to turn it around, it's this week, right? You go to the 2 most awesome places to watch baseball, right? Wrigley and Fenway for your next 6 games. Why not just turn the season around, win 5 of 6? There you go. That could be your storyline. Now, will that happen? Really highly doubtful.
I'll tell you why not, because Contreras not being behind the plate isn't going to fix the terrible pitching.
No. Here's your perfect example you're talking about. Marcus Stroman and Miles Michaelis are both basically the ace of their respective teams. Coming into the season, in other words. I know Steele's been unbelievable, and Montgomery is probably somebody that I even thought was better than Michaelis coming in. But that said, Stroman is 2-2 with a 2.18 ERA. That's probably a little bit better than you expected.
Yes.
So when it comes to the ERA, that's probably he's better than you expected. Miles Michaelis is 1-1 with a 5.79 ERA. There is no way he should have an ERA approaching 6. So that tells you right there, your aces supposedly coming into the season, one is giving up 2 runs a game essentially. I know the ERA is a lot of different factors. The other's 6. I mean, there is 3+ run difference between Michaelis and Stroman. So when the Cubs go out and win this game 7-4 tonight, it'll all make sense. It'll all make sense. Cubbies 10-9 at home.
Cubs can't hit recently either, so I don't know if they're putting up 7 runs on anyone.
Well, that's true. Boy, I tell you what, maybe we let Kyle stew for a while on his Cubbies.
They did win a series this weekend, but their offense has totally cooled off from the start of the year.
I don't think either team is that good, but the Cardinals are now a laughingstock.
Yep.
With what they're doing off the field. They've found every way to lose a game on the field, and now off the field they're making just some of the strangest decisions, and it's just weird.
That's where beyond the record, it's just something that we're not accustomed to. Like, this is like the Knicks usually, or like you said, maybe the A's or fill in the blank, some other franchise, like the Raiders for a long time. Sorry, Lindy.
Arizona Cardinals. I mean, maybe this is, look, the one thing we have had is a lot of winning. Let's be honest. Whether or not it's consistent in the postseason, which you've got a great point on, maybe this just is what it looks like when it's time to make a decision. Maybe you have finally reached that point where, as Cardinals fans, we haven't seen this in a long time. Maybe what we're seeing right now is that's when you clean house.
Enough, yeah.
Yep. So maybe it's just so obvious that we're looking at it going, well, we can't explain this. Well, no, I'll tell you, I can explain it. It's time for Mo to go. It's time for Ollie to go, and it's time for a refresh in St. Louis.
Yeah.
That explains it. You don't have to go any deeper. You don't have to worry about this, or the bullpen this, or the Cardinal starters. It's just bad baseball, and it's come to a head. Mo, you've had a hell of a run. It's time. It's time to refresh it. Ollie, I've never been a huge – I don't dislike Ollie. I just never understood why they did that. With Schilt to Ollie, there was obviously some reason they did that. Mike Schilt made the playoffs by winning, 18 games in a row, and the next thing you know, he's out. So that tells me it's not baseball as the reason Mike Schilt is gone. That bothers me as a fan. There's got to be a give and take between a GM and a president of baseball operations and a manager. I don't want a manager just automatically just saying, sure. I guarantee you Tony La Russa didn't do that. I want a give and take. I want an argument now and then. You have to have that. There's no arguments. Not with Ollie. And you see what's happening. So I think we just did for 28 minutes. We just sat here and talked about the Cardinals and got everything off our chest. Now we can move on, right? I think it just comes down to this. You're just a bad team that needs fresh ideas moving forward, both from the manager standpoint and from the front office standpoint. So it's time to clean house, refresh, and move on. Maybe it's that simple.
Might be.
But I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, no doubt. Plenty more to chat about. We'll dive into this Cubs and Cardinals series.
Yeah, let's
talk
go.
Some NBA playoffs as we go along. We got the Warriors and Lakers in action tonight, along with the Knicks and Miami
Lindy
Heat.
just said there are no number 2 starters either.
Yeah.
We don't have a 1. We don't have an ace or a 2. Jordan Montgomery, maybe.
Yeah.
You're right.
Maybe. And Kyle said it off the air. I think I survived. As far as I know. Ooh. You guys can fill me in. Survived a week outside of Champaign-Urbana without some news in the Illini basketball front. So sorry, I don't have anything to really
I thought the one day
react to.
I kind of saw a Ray J thing, and I thought, it's going to happen today. We even tried to jinx you on Friday.
Did you?
Yeah. Kyle and I tried to jinx you Friday. And I said, well, maybe if it happens, because I was talking like we had him. And then I said, oh, by the way, if you're just joining the show, we have not signed Ray J. Dennis, in fact, but it'd be cool if they did today. And then Kyle's like, well, yeah, but then Pipes would have to work over his vacation. I'm like, I don't really want to do that to him, but you probably wouldn't be that upset, would you?
For a phone call, no.
Probably not.
Probably not. A lot more to get to. If you want to weigh in, you can. 217-359-2255. Going to catch a break. On the other side, talk more Cardinals and Cubs and also some NBA. This is The Drive.
Nice.
At Busey Bank, we're proud to serve our local community through financial guidance and community investment. Offering sound advice and actionable insight, Busey builds financial strength, supports homeownership dreams, and offers customized lending strategies, connecting with our neighbors to build stronger communities. Busey Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
From Champaign County Sheriff Deputy Andy Livingston.
Did you always have kind of a passion for law enforcement? Were you thinking, I'll do this for a living?
You know what? At first, it wasn't law enforcement, but I knew I wanted to help the community in some way. But definitely after I got into the military and got out or was on the back half of that, I knew I wanted to serve, and this was the right place for me.
Awesome.
Is it accurate to say that you and all of your brothers and sisters in law enforcement are simply wanting to help people on not their best day?
Absolutely. I mean, majority of the people we deal with it's their worst day ever. So, people say, a lot of officers say the reason they join is to help people. It's a cliche answer, but it's a genuine answer at that.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
Hey, Class A CDL drivers. Gale Frericks Trucking wants to invite you to join our team and get a taste of what it's like to work with a team that cares about you, your home time, and your professional growth, as well as your paycheck. This is Operations Manager Donna Onstadt inviting you to join us as we continue building the company you would have started if you knew then what you know now. Gale Frericks Trucking. Call 765-793-7131 today. Our drivers are pre-dispatched, make a guaranteed minimum gross pay of $1,200 per week, have paid vacations and benefits, and are home every weekend and sometimes during the week for quality family time. Our openings are limited, so don't miss your opportunity with the top-paying trucking company in the area, Gale Frericks Trucking. Call 765-793-7131 today. The days are getting longer, and our customers are booking us up with freight. Gale Frericks Trucking. 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com.
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. Take a look around your home. Is it finally ready for some much-needed updates? If you don't know where to start, then just meet with one of our experts. We'll help you find the perfect waterproof plank floor for your kitchen or that stain-resistant, super soft carpet for your bedroom. Finish your room update with a custom sofa and chairs, or choose a trendy in-stock dining set that's priced right. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Illini pizza fans, Jets Pizza has been making the best pizza on the planet for 40 years. They've always been committed to quality, like hand-pressed dough, fresh mozzarella, and sauce made from Mama Jet's secret family recipe. All baked to perfection. It takes more work, but take one bite and you'll get it. Right now, enjoy 3 types of pepperoni with the new Triple Roni Pizza for just $15.99. And this is a limited time deal, so visit jetspizza.com. And don't forget to flavorize your crust for free, like their famous Turbo Crust. Jets, better because it has to be.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B at Stevie J Broadcasting, and you are listening to the amazing ESPN Radio 93.5.
Back on the drive with Tay and Piper. Derek Piper, Lante, Kyle Tosk. We've had plenty of you weigh in on the U of I Illini Lake text line. A few, including Wade and also Heath, mentioning the Cardinals should bring in, or maybe are setting up to bring in Yadi as a manager.
Maybe.
Potentially. I'd be all right with that.
What's he going to do when he's got to go and run the basketball team?
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably trying. That's why it's taking a little longer. They're trying to figure out that part of it. Hey, I see. Justin Fields graduated from Ohio State.
Did he?
He did. Got his.
Very nice.
What's this with? I want to get to baseball, but what is going on with Jokic? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Jokic.
So he tried to snatch a ball from Matt Ishbia. He's the owner of the Suns, and elbowed him.
Yeah, he gave him a little bit of a forearm shiver. A little bit.
Okay.
Just a little shove off.
And then
the owner flopped.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, the owner flopped.
He did. He flopped. He didn't need to fall down.
Like Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't see that with...
Nothing should come of it. They've been talking about should he be suspended for Game 5 or whatnot.
Okay.
The NBA's not going to do that.
Well, the Suns owner even said it would not be right if they suspended
It's going to hurt their TV ratings.
Yeah.
It's been a really good series. Now evened up 2-2. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant have gone nuclear the last two games. Booker has literally shot 80% from the field over the last two.
Unbelievable. He might as well join the Celtics from three-point line. Good Lord. Yeah, that series is pretty good. Sixers, Celtics, 2-2.
Pretty good one, yep.
What's the Knicks Heat? 3-1, right? Heat?
Is it 3-1?
Heat lead 2-1. Heading to tonight, Game 4.
Okay. And that's in Miami?
Yep.
And then the fourth series is
You've
the
got
Lakers.
Lakers and Warriors, 2-1 Lakers.
2-1 Lakers. Interesting. Okay. Are the Lakers really going to make it to the finals?
Maybe.
Did we have this discussion, Kyle, when Derek was gone?
Mm-hmm.
What did
you say? Yes?
Well,
I said if they made it.
We were talking about what it would mean for LeBron if he won his fifth with the Lakers this year.
Hey, and we're going to miss Bronny and Caleb Williams by a year. You know that? Because Bronny, is that what they call him?
Bronny James.
Is going to USC. Caleb Williams, the quarterback of USC, who they say is like the next Pat Mahomes, can't miss. Arizona better really be bad this year and go ahead and grab him. I don't care what you do with Kyler Murray. Illinois is going to miss them. They're going to miss each of those guys by 1 year. That would be kind of cool to have Bronny coming into State Farm.
It would have been awesome.
That would be really cool. But obviously he's going to play 1 year and go, I would assume.
I think that based on the circumstances of what LeBron's saying, he's going to come into the league, I'm going to make my way to play with him wherever he's at, or just find a way to team up. That will raise Bronny's stock. I'm not saying that he's I think some have overrated him. He was a McDonald's All-American. He's talented, but
that's fair.
I've seen him a number of times on the AAU circuit, and sometimes I was a little underwhelmed. And he's a solid high major talent, but if he was just anybody else's kid, he'd be a multi-year player in college. I think, unless he develops a ton, and he's athletic, and that's
our buddy,
surprise anybody.
Yeah, our buddy Jason Thompson. We were texting. He's like, I'd be shocked if he went next year in the draft. I'm like, well. All the mock drafts have him going in the first round.
Yeah.
But kind of to what you're saying, I think is what Jason's saying too. It just seems like, I don't know that he's a surefire. It's amazing how big LeBron James is. I saw a picture of he and Bronny, he was giving him a hug or something. LeBron James is just massive. Tall, and what he does on the court.
He's a freight train downhill, man.
Goodness.
When he wants to get to the rim, there's nobody that can stop him.
He's amazing.
Especially with the way, I'm not going to say, well, yeah, I am. He gets officiated pretty.
Oh, yeah.
He gets the star treatment.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try to be physical enough with him to stop him from getting where he wants to go, he's going to get the call.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you just bump him enough, going to get the and one. But that's kind of that's part of what makes him so amazing is that he's that big but that skilled.
Mm-hmm. Correct. I think I counted 12 travels in the first quarter of the Sixers Celtics games, and I finally just quit counting. I'm like, Lon, that's so.
There's some ugly NBA basketball now. Some of it, the shot making is amazing,
incredible.
Last night watching the Suns and Nuggets, and watch just the way that they consistently make tough shots. Jokic getting like an and one from 18 feet, and just the Suns are bombing threes. Every wide open corner three Landry Shamet was able to make. But then there's times where, this isn't a surprise. I'm a college guy at heart.
Amen.
And you hear from some of the NBA purists like, oh, college basketball's so ugly. The rock fights, the guys can't make shots, or it's sloppy, whatever. There's some really sloppy NBA ball.
Big time.
This is usually the best of the best in the playoffs, although you ramp up the intensity so much defensively that finally
I agree.
Some of that contributes to some uglier offensive games too that maybe you might not be as accustomed to seeing if it's a random Tuesday night in Minnesota.
Well, I think even the staunch people that argue that the NBA is so much better, even they would have to agree with what you just said. I think just defensively, LeBron James can absolutely shut you down defensively too. And you look at who's the Brown or whatever from the Celtics,
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown. He just swallows you. He just he's on you 94 feet. And good luck trying to get away from him. I think that has a lot to do with it and how sometimes it doesn't look very pretty on that side. But it's been fun. I've had it. Yeah, I've kind of enjoyed these NBA playoffs this year. I really have. So, all right, we can talk Cardinals Cubs again if you want.
I was looking up
or Illinois.
Well, it's not a ton new to report. Anybody's got a question? Well, within reason.
What is next?
217-359-2255. Got to wait on some draft decisions. Now, the portal window's about to close this, what is that, Thursday?
Is that
May
right?
11th?
Oh, okay.
Is the last day to go in the portal. So anybody that's not in the portal quite yet will know after that deadline is up that there'll be no new additions. The list of who Illinois could go get, or if anybody on Illinois that would want to go into the portal at the final hour, you've got this week to do so. Terrence Shannon Jr., Coleman Hawkins need to continue to go through the process. It sounds like they've had a couple of workouts with teams and pushing towards the NBA Combine that will be later on in the month. And I think that we still got to let that thing play out, the feedback that those guys are going to get. Still think that as of right now, the belief is that Terrence is more likely to come back than Coleman, which is still a little bit of perplexing.
I know.
Just based on the way that Shannon's been mocked and Coleman. I know that there might be more intrigue to Coleman potentially because of his versatility. We've gone through this a number of times, like the shortcomings that Coleman has with the turnovers, the three-point shooting, things that he needs to work on, how much he could grow his game if he came back for one more season.
Absolutely.
Terrence, when he's at his best, is a 3-and-D wing that can also go downhill and be an explosive finisher, but we also know that he's got to be more consistent, get that right hand better, and just be more assertive in games than he was last year too. So,
does it matter which one comes back in your mind? In other words, would one make more of a difference than the other?
I think Terrence makes more of a difference.
Okay.
Because you need that kind of go-to scorer.
Got it.
And Coleman is too up and down in terms of his scoring outputs. Now, would you miss him defensively? There's no doubt about it, especially at the 5 where we know Dane can't move around as well and cover as much, and you can't be as versatile in how you want to guard some things. And then as of right now, like if Coleman's not back, the only true 5 on your team is Dane or even a guy that you would associate with, all right, it makes sense lengthwise. I mean, Gary A is 6'8", 225. I think he's got the ability to play small ball 5, so to speak. But you're giving up something there size-wise as well. So
you don't even have Lieb.
You don't have Lieb.
Well, that's interesting, though. I was thinking about that. But you're right. I mean, Shannon would be the guy. He was first team, not first team All Big Ten. Well, he was on
one of those.
On one of them. But
if not both, I don't know. I can't remember.
It was one of them.
I think it was the coaches. But yeah, so that makes sense. It'd just be nice to have them both back. It really would be nice to have them both back.
And I know people are getting a little antsy about Ray J. Dennis. He's been in the portal, a week and a half, maybe?
Yeah. What other suitors for Ray J. Dennis?
Sounds like Baylor's one. There's some other guard-needy teams out there. Like Baylor has Adam Flagler going through the draft process. I think he'll probably stay in. They lost L.J. Cryer to the portal and going to Houston. Keontae George was a one-and-done freshman that's going to be projected as a middle-of-the-first-round type of guy. So they've had a a turnover there in their backcourt. UCLA without Tiger Campbell could use a point guard. Creighton could use a point guard with Nembhard going to Gonzaga. But it sounds like, not to say that all those teams are involved. I've heard Baylor as a competitor. I know Indiana's trying. I just don't see the fit with Indiana.
Okay, yeah, they've got
Xavier Johnson coming back.
Okay.
I mean, they would have played and did for the first month of the season, Xavier Johnson and Hood Schifino together. But I just feel like Dennis is more of that. He's not as big as Schifino. He's got to play more of that pure point guard. And with Xavier Johnson back, I just don't see those two fitting that well in terms of their sell to Ray J. But sounds like they want him.
Where did all the Creighton guys go? Where did the big center go?
He's still there, right?
Oh, he's still in the portal.
No, he didn't go to the portal.
Oh, I'm sorry. He stayed at Creighton.
He stayed at Creighton.
Didn't they lose 4 guys?
They had a handful of guys going to the portal. They had Ryan Nembhard go to Gonzaga. Now, off the top of my head, I'm not remembering who else. I think they still have Trey Alexander.
I think all their starters other than Nembhard are still there.
Why did I hear that they had lost 4 guys to the portal? Maybe the couple went in and came back, including Kalkbrenner, I thought.
There was some buzz that Kalkbrenner would possibly go in, but he ultimately didn't.
Okay.
Same on a couple of others. I mean, that's kind of the
I liked watching
standard.
That. Yeah, I liked watching that Creighton team. They were fun to watch. So I kind of was disappointed that they were all leaving, but now I know I didn't know that. So
I guess one thing did happen news-wise while I was gone. That's Cole Serta.
Yes.
Went to Notre Dame.
Going to Notre Dame. I think you said that one day that he would fit well in that Shrewsbury system.
It's really hard to argue against what Shrewsbury did with that offense and the way he had shooters there at Penn State, how he used Andrew Funk. Both Funk and then Seth Lundy were the top 2 3-point shooters in the Big Ten last year.
Wow. Yeah, that's
so
true.
The volume of threes that offense takes, just the actions they run to get guys coming off of screens, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then, I mean, he's at Bloomington Central Catholic, Notre Dame, not that far from home, Catholic school. I think that added into it. And Notre Dame just recruited him really hard.
They did.
And Illinois wanted him. I don't know that they had him in the same type of a range like an Io, like we'll do whatever we have to do. I'd like to say that they're going to push full bore 100%.
Right.
I think that they recruited him hard as well, but Notre Dame just flat out won that recruitment as it sounds, and that's a good get for Shrewsbury.
I'm anxious to see in about 3 years, how it all turns out for Jaden Schutt and a guy like Cole Serta. Because in my eyes, you cannot have as many pure shooters as you – I mean, you could have 10 on the roster and I'd be fine. But it seems like Illinois could use a shooter, and now 2 straight years they've lost out on basically an unbelievable shooter in your backyard. I know Yorkville is not in your backyard, but it's not far away. Bloomington is. So essentially 2 straight years you've lost out on 2 guys that, and I understand it just, I think I'm over the idea that, well, he's from Illinois, should go to Illinois. I get that. That all changes. Hell, anymore, I almost think those guys, it's better that they leave and then you get them back when they portal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think now I've changed everything in my mind to say the best players in the state of Illinois, I hope don't come to Illinois. I hope they go somewhere else and realize, well, it's not what I thought it would be. I miss home. I'm going back to the University of Illinois. And then you get them for 2 or 3 years because they can't transfer again, we don't think. But that's to be determined.
Yeah, it worked out really well. We'll see how he plays there. But for Jaden Epps to decommit from Providence, and now Ed Cooley swipes him up the second time, and now, like you said, should have him for 3 years.
I agree.
There at Georgetown.
I agree. So, yeah, that's a good call.
Bryce Hopkins goes to Kentucky.
Yep.
Barely plays, transfers. Unfortunately for Illinois, he didn't come back to Champaign because his second year he was a first-team all-league guy there in the Big East and would have been really darn good here in Champaign as well. So sometimes on that comeback is the way to go, and that's part of why you develop relationships anyway with certain guys, and even like a Ty Pence. What if Ty Pence goes to Illinois State, lights it up,
blows
for
up
a couple of years, and hopefully you're not in a situation where he's spurned by the fact you didn't go all the way out to get him and you offered and maybe got cold feet. I mean, I know they did.
Yeah, right.
But so did some other high majors that were involved there too. But that would make a lot of sense to say, hey, come play in your backyard. If you go there and and kill it.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think in football, too, it could make a real big difference. Because in football, you've got the best players in the state of Illinois don't still come to Illinois yet. Now, Bielema's slowly getting this thing to where it seems like at least we got a chance now. But, those guys automatically are looking at Michigan or Ohio State, Notre Dame. And sometimes you get lost in the shuffle there. I know there's the wide receiver from Michigan that's kind of opened up things, and I think Illinois is on his list. Sometimes, a guy leaves for greener pasture, and then I'm anxious with that Johnston City kid that went to Wisconsin. He was a safety.
Yeah.
Remember when all the coaches went down and fished at Johnston City? I think that's awesome. And it was they couldn't talk to him. I can't remember the young man's name now. But I remember, I think I told you, or I think I was like, well, he'll end up in Illinois one day. So we'll see. We'll see. That'd be interesting. Hey, I got the lineups for both the Cubs and Cardinals for next hour.
Perfect. You're prepared. I've got the year-by-year records, Cardinals, Cubs, who won the season series.
Oh, nice.
The last handful of years, so we can go over those as well.
I want to ask you, is this your I told Kyle last week that, of course, I said, let's win 2 or 3 against the Angels, sweep the Tigers, and then get me this series against the Cubs, and then I'm back in. Boom, let's go. Well, none of that happened. I mean, you were lucky to win a game, but is this like your last chance to get excited about a Cardinal baseball team this season? Or will you hold on hope for a while? I mean, I want to ask you that next hour.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Can this series be the one? Because I'm not lying. I can't wait to watch this game tonight. And that's even knowing that the Cardinals have been brutal to this point. But I'm all about this. I'm all about it. It's like, hey, it's Cubs-Cardinals. Shouldn't matter the records. Let's have some fun. Let's watch a game at Wrigley, see what happens. It'll take me 2 pitches, and I'll be like, oh, I hate the Cubs. It'll maybe take 2. Probably the first pitch.
And on the other side, Kyle's dreaming of scoring 25 runs against the Cardinals this week, laughing his butt off that the Cardinals thought they'd fix their pitching by moving Contreras out of catching, and then
that would be grand.
Drive a stake into the heart of the Cardinals season if they were, especially to sweep. And the Cardinals would be 11-27.
Oh, yeah.
They'd be done.
You'd be done.
So we could talk about that.
Let's do.
If you want to weigh in, you can. 217-359-2255. Talk Cardinals and Cubs on the other side. It is The Drive.
When you know you've got a problem and something's bugging you, call on American Pest Control and take control. You be wise, Americanized. Call on American Pest Control. That's how you get back in control. Call American Pest Control. American Pest Control. No more bugs to bug you. Take control.
Kids may love bugs, but we don't. It's time now for a no-obligation termite inspection. American Pest Control has now installed the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System to over 6,000 homes right here in central Illinois. The Centricon system provides complete colony elimination. Make sure your home is protected. Get their home before they get yours.
Call American Pest Control. American Pest Control. No more bugs to bug you. Take control.
Pepsi Cola Champaign-Urbana Bottling, a valued member of the community for 2 generations, is proud to announce that applications are being accepted for commercial drivers. Do you have a CDL? Full-time positions include major medical, dental, a 401k, vacation time, sick time, and paid holidays. To view all openings and to apply, go to PepsiColaCU.com. Then under the More header, click Employment Opportunities. That's PepsiColaCU.com. Equal Opportunity Employer.
Here's what somebody recently said at Pards in Urbana. I was there just a few minutes, and somebody came up and asked if I needed help. And they were incredible, helping me find the size of boot I needed. And then I bought a second pair, too. Everything was friendly. Everything was excellent. Visit Pards in Urbana, 206 North Maple, between Main and University in Urbana. It's Pards Western Shop since 1968. Or go online and visit pards.com. Pards, Morning
bird walks are back at Urbana Park District at the Anita Purvis Nature Center, 1505 North Broadway in Urbana from 7:30 to 9 a.m. every Sunday through the end of May. Meet at the Nature Center, go on a walk through Busey Woods and Crystal Lake Park, and look for our feathered friends. A guide will lead you on your bird walking adventure. No bird watching experience is necessary. It's a free event. For details, call 217-384-4062. Urbana Park District, you belong here.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
So far, New York City says it's received more than 60,000 asylum seekers, and the city says this new plan should help with the expected influx following the end of Title 42. Adams says the federal government hasn't helped the city. Now his team says surrounding areas need to do their share.
Fox's CB Cotton, Rockland County Executive Ed Day tells Fox News his county doesn't have the capacity.
I have not-for-profits right now who are livid over what's been going on here because, with all due respect to the mayor, he doesn't know what he's doing. He has no clue what's going on up here in Rockland. He didn't ask. His people didn't ask.
He accuses the New York mayor of making an already bad situation worse for the migrants. A new surge is expected at the southern border beginning Thursday when Title 42, a pandemic-era limit on asylum seekers, ends. Republicans blame the president's policies for the existing surge, while the White House calls on Congress to act and says it's doing everything it can with enforcement, deterrence, and diplomacy. A sexual assault claim against former President Trump will be in the jury's hands tomorrow after closing arguments today.
Author and former advice columnist E. Jean Carroll says former President Trump raped her in the dressing room of a Bergdorf Goodman department store in the 90s. She sued after he dismissed her claim and called her a liar. Jurors heard from Carroll herself that she's still traumatized, but they also heard from two other women who said Trump assaulted them as well. An attorney for Carroll, Roberta Kaplan, highlighted their testimony in closing statements as well, saying the former president wants them to believe that everyone but him is lying here.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, in his closing statement, an attorney for Trump, says Carroll never told police and sued years later for political reasons. America is listening to Fox News.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
Newsmax is conducting an urgent poll asking if it was right for Fox News to fire Tucker. Do you want Tucker back on TV? Let us know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text us now. Text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard. Text RESPOND to 39747. Millions made the switch to Newsmax. You can too. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Police in Texas say the driver who killed 8 people at a bus stop over the weekend lost control after running a red light, and they haven't ruled out an intentional crash.
Investigation also revealed that the driver of the vehicle, later identified as George Alvarez, November 9th, 1988, had attempted to flee the scene after impact, but was held down by several individuals on scene.
Brownsville Chief Felix Sauceda says Alvarez is a local man with an extensive criminal record. He's held on $3.6 million bond after being arraigned on 8 counts of manslaughter and 10 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The gunman who killed 8 people at a Texas mall on Saturday had been discharged from the U.S. Army in 2008 without finishing basic training. An Army official says he was kicked out under the regulation that covers physical or mental issues. The shooter was killed by a police officer, but his motive remains under investigation. An ex-neo-Nazi follower pleads guilty to murder in Florida as his trial was set to begin.
Devin Arthurs will get 45 years in prison for admitting to killing his roommates 6 years ago. After his arrest, police found guns, ammunition, and bomb-making materials in his apartment. At one point, Arthurs was deemed unfit to stand trial, but a recent evaluation found him able to be in court. After pleading guilty, he said he regretted what happened and felt he could help society.
I
want to dedicate the rest of my life to trying to better myself and trying to make the right choices. I feel that I can be an advocate against extremism.
The guilty plea avoids a potential life sentence if he had been found guilty at trial. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
2 class-conscious novels win the Pulitzer Prize for fiction. Demon Copperhead, a modern recasting of David Copperfield by Barbara Kingsolver, and Trust by Hernan Diaz, about wealth and deceit, set in 1920s New York. I'm Lisa Brady. This is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for East Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana this Saturday, and the active weather pattern continues on. Boy, some folks getting it pretty good over the past weekend. Better than an inch and a half worth of rain over central through southern Champaign County, and yesterday afternoon up to the north towards the Kankakee, and boy, some large hail and very chaotic and turbulent-looking skies. Well, showers and thunderstorms press through the area here early to mid-morning. They'll take a break, come back in scattered fashion this afternoon as winds turn south-southwest. Will climb to about 79 to 80 degrees this afternoon. A couple of showers, thunderstorms this evening down to 56. Cooler, drier air sets up for tomorrow and Wednesday. Sunshine, 73 tomorrow, 77 on Wednesday. Will warm to 82 on Thursday. Once again, a series of disturbances along kind of a frontal boundary strung out across the area means more rainfall with on and off showers and thunderstorms. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, high temperatures up around 80 degrees. Nights in the 60s. Cooler, drier back in for early next week. For Steve J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny. Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over! I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielema.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What?
We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack Dogs.
Thunderstruck! Yeah, Thunderstruck!
Back on The Drive with Tay and Piper, Derek Piper, Lon Tay, Kyle Tosk, ESPN Radio 93.5. I'm back from vacation.
You messed up because you weren't here with Chris Block talking Derby.
Oh, man.
Did
he give out
2 long shots that finished first and second in the Derby.
Really?
John just sent that in and said, hey, when you're done talking baseball, give a shout out to Chris. His 2 long shot picks finished 1 and 2. Of course, Mage. And then it was the 2 Phils or whatever. That's an Illinois horse.
Yeah.
That's an Illinois horse. So Chris got it done.
Here I am on my TVG placing a couple of Derby bets, and I could have just tuned into the show or the podcast and had some winners.
That's all you needed to do.
What an idiot.
I did the double yesterday thinking, this would be awesome if this actually happened because I just was in the mood to do nothing. So I bet Ross Chastain on the NASCAR circuit, and he finished like 9th. And then just for the hell of it, I bet the Miami Grand Prix of Miami or something, Formula One last night, a little open wheel, and my guy finished like 4th. But it made it kind of fun to watch the race. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It kind of was make it, I mean, I could tell on the long runs that Chastain wasn't going to get it done, but I'm just like, if the first 8 guys wreck each other accidentally when they're not even close to each other.
It makes you more invested
It does.
in stuff that you normally wouldn't. Or maybe you're going to watch a game anyway just to give you I'd probably tune into, although I didn't bet it last night, like the Suns and Nuggets, but if you have a little wager on something.
I like it.
Kevin Durant scored 30 points. Gives you a little added incentive.
I've completely flipped on the way I wager now. And it's because of that, what you just said. Like, I used to just do a parlay a night. Like, what the hell? Let's do that. Now it's, well, I almost have to bet on the Cardinals to watch them. I mean, that's how bad it's gotten.
I hope you haven't been on them.
No, I haven't.
Well.
But then, like, come weekend, I pick one guy from the PGA. I pick a driver on the NASCAR circuit. So that gives me something on Sunday to kind of sit down and watch a little bit. Sunday's the only day where I get a chance to just, and probably for a lot of us, to sit down and just kind of enjoy sports or whatever on TV. But, yeah, that's just kind of the way I do it now. I just kind of am like, I'm just going to pick these guys to have a reason to watch the whatever Open this week in Greensboro on the PGA Tour. Hello, friends.
Beer Can Kurt on the U of I Atlanta Links text line said he's got $150 in his pocket now that he didn't before, thanks to Chris Block's advice.
Nice. I think he should buy us a beer. He's brought us beer before.
It's true.
So we couldn't open it because it was the really cool cans.
The Chicago Bears
Bears cans. So he brought that to us knowing we weren't going to open that up and drink that beer. But it was still a nice gesture to what he did. Yeah, that's cool. And, of course, we'll have Chris on now before the Preakness.
Sounds good.
That's next, right? Preakness and then Belmont, I believe.
How many Nerfies have you bet?
I have.
No run first inning if you didn't hear Brad Evans' interview.
Nerfy and Yurfy.
Yurfy and Nerfy.
I've never bet a Yurfy. I told you that, right? Because I said I couldn't handle it. I could not handle all of a sudden then seeing 3 games go no run first innings when I bet them as a run first inning. I would lose my collective mind after all the times I've lost on a no run first inning. So I will never bet a Yurfy. But I've done a few Nerfies. I kind of enjoy it. I had one rolling the other day. I was about ready to win it, and I think it was the Rays with 2 outs. Did they just play the Yankees? I don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think with 2 outs in the first inning, all I needed was one more out to win a 3-leg Nerfy parlay, and a guy homered. And I'm like,
worst.
Are you kidding me?
The worst.
It is amazing how many runs are scored in the first inning. That is the one thing that I have learned from doing a Nerfy. And it makes all the sense in the world that a first inning would be when runs would score because the best 6 to 8 hitters of the game are coming to the plate. So it actually makes no sense to bet a Nerfy, but it's just kind of fun because then you're thinking, well, okay, the starting pitcher's fresh. He's got everything on his side. Yeah, exactly. But, man, it is amazing how many times teams score in the first inning. It's crazy. I don't know. I told you the one time, didn't I? What was it? Down on the beach, I was on a Florida vacation, and I was just having what the heck? And I bet every game, parlayed like 10 games of no-run first inning, and it set a record. Like Trevor sent me the article, like Wall Street Journal or something did this article saying Saturday was the most runs ever scored in the first inning of any Major League Baseball or something. I was like, oh, my God.
Of course.
It was hilarious.
On that note, in transition, I think a Yurfy might be a good move for tonight's game. Michaelis on the hill. I know it's been a cold Cubs lineup, but Michaelis has been getting hit around. And then Stroman doesn't have the best numbers against the Cardinals, in particular Paul Goldschmidt, who usually hits the Cubs pretty well. So maybe we see a run there at Wrigley in the first inning. I have to check the weather, see if the wind's blowing out. But
you know what? I'm looking.
Blowing in.
It's blowing in.
Blowing in. It's a rainy, cold night at Wrigley.
Oh, perfect.
That is perfect.
Doesn't make sense at all that there would be a run. So there will definitely be a run.
I forgot Packy Naughton is on the 15-day IL. That's what's wrong with this team.
Yeah, you should forget about that.
We don't have Packy Naughton. That's what's wrong. The Cubs have no injured players.
Which 45-year-old are they going to trade for this year?
Oh, my goodness. Jake Woodford's on the 15-day IL?
Sure.
That was one of those, hey, Jake, you're hurt, by the way. Waino's back. Excuse me? You're hurt. What do you mean? You're hurt. I don't care what. You hurt something. All right, you want to hear the lineups?
Yep.
Let's go with the Cardinals first instead of the visiting team. Lars Nootbaar starts out in right. He's hitting .297. His OBP is pretty good, too, I think. He's been getting on base. Paul Goldschmidt, average of .321, 7 homers, 20 ribbies. I mean,
3 bombs yesterday.
It's amazing. Nolan Gorman playing second, will bat third. Nolan Arenado at third, batting fourth, hitting .232.
He's been really bad.
He has been. Contreras will hit fifth in DH, hitting .265. Billy, I always say Billy. Brendan Donovan will bat, seventh? Play left field? No, he'll bat sixth.
He might have thought his name was Billy after that collision between him and Newt.
Goodness. Wow. Dylan Carlson's in center, the untouchable. Hitting .235. He'll bat seventh.
Whew,
Tommy Edmonds at short, hitting .248. And your guy, Andrew Kisner, will bat ninth and catch. He's hitting .205.
205, he's on fire.
He is. He's above the Mendoza line. I'll tell you a guy that's not is Tucker Barnhart, and I'll get to him. Nico Horner leads it off for the Cubbies at second, hitting .309. Dansby's hitting .271 to bat two. Ian's third, hitting .300. Bellinger's fourth, hitting .300. Suzuki. I know.
Awesome, man.
Suzuki's hitting fifth, .259 average. Mancini, who won me a bet last year, is hitting sixth, .264. Matt Mervis, the youngster, guaranteed to go 3 for 4 tonight. He's hitting .286. Patrick Wisdom, hitting eighth in the order, hitting .229, but 11 home runs, 21 ribbies. Leads the team in homers and ribbies. And then Tucker Barnhart will bat ninth. He's hitting .186.
It's the 9-hole battle between the catchers hitting is going to be just the
That's
worst.
what I'm watching for tonight.
The worst.
That's what I'm looking for. And then you got Mike Miles on the mound, 1-1, 5.79 ERA, a whip of 1.66. So looks to be a better whip than Marcus Stroman. Oh, no, wait. You want to be. Stroman's 2-2 with a 2.18 ERA and a 1.09.
In this instance, the smaller the better.
Greg, how about this? Michaelis has thrown 37 innings this year. How is his whip not over like 6? I don't understand. He's thrown 37 innings and given up 53 hits. Marcus Stroman has thrown 41 innings and given up 29 hits. So Stroman has thrown 4 more innings and given up basically 20-some less hits.
It's amazing.
That's 24 hits, is that right? Wow.
I'll add this about Stroman.
Stroman has walked
which
16.
Derek just alluded to, though. The Cardinals were kind of his kryptonite last year. In 4 starts against the Cardinals last year, he had a 6.89 ERA.
Wow.
In his 21 starts against anyone else, he had a 2.87 ERA.
Wow. I didn't realize that. I did not realize that. I don't remember that. I don't remember us doing that.
I was looking through some of the
all-time series.
Yeah, I do have those. You want those?
I do. I like these.
All right, so this is the season series year by year. Last year, the Cardinals won 13 of 19. They were 13-6 against the Cubbies. The year before that, Cardinals 10-9. In 2020, they tied. Was that the year they played like 4 games?
Probably. COVID.
Yeah, the COVID year. I think maybe it was even like 5 or 6 across a weekend.
With nobody in the stands.
Nobody in the stands. They were playing those 7-inning games for doubleheaders.
So weird.
Really weird. So they tied 5-5 that year. Cardinals won the series 10-9 in both 2019 and 2018.
Wow.
So 4 out of the last 5 years, the Cardinals have taken the season series. And then they tied in 2020. Cubs in 2017 won 14 of 19. 2016, 10 of 19. And then in 2015, that can't be right. It says they were 3-1. Oh, that's the 2015 NLDS. Sorry.
Oh.
I do remember that very well.
I do remember that as well.
The Cardinals have gotten the better of the Cubs, although it's usually tightly contested. And there's been stretches of the rivalry where the better team, record-wise, doesn't win the season series.
Agree.
So many years where the Cardinals were the better team in the standings through the mid-2000s, 2010s, but the Cubs would get the better of them in the series. And here recently, the Cardinals have been the better team, at least last year especially, and the record played that out because the Cubs weren't very good.
And you never know at Wrigley, right? I mean,
that's true.
Those games are fun. This candy cane's killing me right now. Excuse me. I just brought in a fresh batch, by the way, if anybody needs another candy cane. Some of those games at Wrigley when the wind's blowing out are just tremendously fun.
Can you guess who's won more all-time series?
It's the Cubs. Because they have a better head-to-head record against the Cardinals, right?
All-time series against each other. The Cubs have won 1,259, and the Cardinals have won 1,209.
Wow. So they're 50 games ahead of us.
50 games up.
Well, we got to stop. We got to
Which
start.
is pretty much what the
back
Pirates
somewhere.
are on the Cardinals right now in the division.
Are the Cardinals still 10 back?
I believe so.
I mean, that's crazy that
9 back.
Why are we efforting Bob Huggins?
He said something unfortunate on the radio today.
Oh, he did?
Apparently, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear this. Somebody asked if we were efforting Bob Huggins.
No, we don't need that from the FCC.
Oh. Did he curse?
He said something derogatory.
Oh. Okay.
I hadn't heard the sound clip. I just saw what was being circulated on Twitter, apparently what he said about Xavier.
The school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because, Huggins at Cincinnati had the rivalry, and apparently said something about Xavier that
they've had
could
some
have
fights,
some
haven't they?
hot water. Yeah. Yes, they have.
I remember they had a brawl about 6 years ago or something. It was pretty interesting. That's interesting. I don't see this anywhere on where I'm looking as to what he said.
Can you guess the longest win streak in the series?
Was it like in the 40s or something?
The Cardinals' longest win streak in this series was in the 40s from 1944, April and September. Pretty much probably swept the season. They won 14 straight against the Cubs in 1944. Not the longest, though, because back in the dominant era, 1906-07, the Chicago Cubs won 16 in a row against the Cardinals.
Old Cap Anderson came to play today through both ends of a doubleheader. What was the one guy that Jeremy loved? Old man, what is it? Old House Radburn or whatever. Who's buried in a Bloomington cemetery? That was the funniest thing about all of it. That's not funny, but you know what I mean.
Let me pitch this out there. I'd be curious because I know we got Cardinals and Cubs fans who listen in. We got a good, healthy split here in Central Illinois. As we go into the first Cardinals-Cubs series of the year, if there's one player from that franchise you could pull onto your team, and one that you could maybe bean at the plate when he was standing there.
You mean currently?
So I think all time.
Oh, all time.
One Cub that you always liked and would want on your team, and a Cub that if he was standing at the plate, or if it's a pitcher that maybe a comebacker.
A guy I would have taken is Carlos Zambrano.
I always liked Carlos Zambrano.
I would have taken his, and I really liked Mark Grace. Mark Grace. I mean, Ryan Sandberg was a stud, but Tommy Herr was with the Cardinals, so in my eyes, that ain't working. Mark Grace, though, he was really good, really good. And, of course, I mean, you could go back to the Ernie Banks days and Fergie Jenkins, but I didn't see them, so I'm not going to go with that. So I would say Carlos Zambrano would be the guy I would take. He was a fiery, kind of a Joaquin Andahar kind of guy. He did not like losing. So I probably would have taken him. How about you? Grace would be number 2 on that.
I'd probably go same era. Mark Pryor, I always loved.
Yeah.
I mean, when healthy, was dominant. I'm trying to think who else.
That was his issue, right? I missed that. I literally did the Bozo the Clown toss from a foot and missed the garbage can.
Ben Simmons.
Hey, at least I shot. I mean,
that's true.
He didn't even shoot. I've got old Haas Radburn stats pulled up, but I like what you're doing here. What about you, Kyle? Now, you've had a young career, only 19. Any Cardinal? I would assume.
Any Cardinal you'd want on the Cubs, or any Cardinal, you can go who you hated, want to see them get beaned, or a pitcher that you didn't like.
In terms of who I would want on the Cubs, I'd take Albert Pujols on the Cubs. One of the best hitters in the history of the game. I never really disliked him, mainly because that first era with the Cardinals, I was too young.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always kind of liked watching him. In terms of the guy I've always hated the most, Yadi Molina. Hate him.
Who do I hate the most on the Cubs?
I hated Javi Baez for a while.
Oh, yeah. And now he's beating us up with the Tigers. Who would I have?
Wasn't a big Chris Bryant fan, especially the hair.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that pretty much every female Cardinals fan always like, oh, Chris Bryant. Like, don't do that.
Who would I... Who did I hate the most on the Cubs? Probably Sandberg. And out of respect. He was so good.
Aramis Ramirez hated the Cardinals because he tore them up.
I'm glad you brought him up. Aramis Ramirez and what he did, he played for every team in the Central, I think.
Except the Cardinals.
Right, exactly. Is that what's-his-face is doing right now? The kid that played for the Brewers last year, he played for the Pirates forever. The outfielder.
McCutchen?
McCutchen. Where's he at now?
Back in Pittsburgh. Having a heck of a year so far.
White, all he does is produce. Can you pull his stats up, Kyle? I mean, all he does is produce. And it seems like he ought to be retired by now. But he still looks like he could play another 5 years. It's unbelievable what McCutchen. I think he was really good with the Brewers, wasn't he? I mean, not really good, but
pretty good.
He was pretty solid. Did he win MVP one year with the Pirates?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
2013.
So give me how many years with the Pirates before this one, in other words?
9 before this one.
Wow. He was so good. And then he played 2 for the Brewers?
Played 1 for the Brewers last year. Before that was in Philly for 4.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about his Philly
For
days.
3.
3. And now he's back with the Pirates. And what's he doing this year?
He is hitting 238 on base, 344, 810 OPS, has 6 homers, 15 RBIs.
Okay. Well,
he started much better than that. He's probably cooled off a bit.
Probably up until 3 years ago, he would have been the best outfielder the Cardinals now, right?
Oh, 100%.
For the last decade? I'm sorry. You brought up Ramirez, and I thought to myself, is McCutchen now just going to play for every team in the – like, if he gets traded to the Cubs, I would not want to see that.
I don't think I want that.
I would not want to see that.
Anybody you'd want to bean on the Cubs?
Right now, current?
Period.
Well, Sandberg.
Sandberg, yeah.
Sandberg would be the guy for me.
I always wanted to see a letter-high fastball right down the middle hit off of Anthony Rizzo's elbow.
Oh,
because the middle of the plate was exactly where that elbow was was seated,
and have it called a strike.
Yeah. Yep.
Rizzo did get under my skin. I appreciated him, but man, he could get under your skin. He totally could. I could see that with like Yadi Molina. I could totally see a Cubs fan just not liking him at all.
And I know for Trevor, it was always the no-name guys.
Oh, yeah.
The guys that killed them,
true.
like the Cardinals that would come up and like, who the heck is this dude?
The Alan Craig.
Yep.
That would come in and do damage. The Hazelbacher or whatever. That came
Jeremy
out.
Hazelbaker. Yeah.
Hazelbaker had like this unbelievable first month of the season. You know, he was like MVP first month of the season. No, I totally get that. That's where you're like, really? See, that's what worried me about Horner and Happ. When they first came up, I thought, oh, no, I didn't know if they were quite going to be, because I consider them regulars, obviously. But at first, I didn't know what they were going to be able to do, and I thought, these two guys will just kill us. They'll kill us. And they pretty much have. I mean, they really have. Hey, I've got Old Hoss Redburn now.
All right.
I think it's always important to check in on Old Hoss.
Stay in tune with history.
Born in 1854 in Rochester, New York. He died in 1897 in Bloomington, Illinois. I don't know how he got from Rochester, New York to Bloomington, Illinois. Career stats, first of all, his WAR was 75.4. Pretty good WAR, right? He won 310 games, lost 194, and had an ERA of 2.68. Pretty good. 527 games he pitched. He started 502, and he picked up 2 saves. He threw a total of 4,527 innings. That's pretty impressive. Struck out 1830. This is the guy that would start back ends of double. I mean, he would start both games of a doubleheader. You got to love that, man. All right, I had to get that in.
There you go.
Old Hoss. His name was Charles Gardner Radbourne. There you go.
Bill from Troy on the U of I Line League text line said Zambrano on the list of most hated Cubs.
Yes.
And then Brian says didn't care for David Ross as a player, too cocky for his ability.
Okay. He just was all of a sudden the anointed one, right? Like Grandpa Rossi. It was just that cute story when they were winning. But listen, the Cardinals have had plenty of those, right? To where we're just like
the salsa,
the rally squirrel.
Yeah, who couldn't even save the Cardinals this week.
No, happy flight.
That's true. There's a lot of those.
We've had way too many of those. Way too many. But you're right. You're right. It's like it's just one of those where it's like, that was a cute story, Grandpa Rossi. Didn't he homer first pitch? His first pitch he saw in the World Series?
He homered in his last at-bat ever in Game 7 of the World Series.
That's right. I knew there was something. I tell you what, that dude, I heard the story and it made it up for me. I would never hit him after this, that he walked home. Was it after they won the division or maybe the the NLCS, that he walked to his place in Chicago in his uniform and would go into bars. And so he'd go into a bar. Everybody would want to buy him a shot. He'd have like one shot, one beer, and then he'd leave and go to the next bar. Now, whether that's true or not, I heard that that's what Ross did. That is awesome. That to me is that's a man of the people right there, David Ross. Boy, did he flip himself from a backup catcher to like a hero.
He did.
Was he backup catcher that year or starter?
He was backup.
Didn't he always
They kind of platooned everyone because they had 3 catchers that year.
right.
Contreras, Miguel Montero, and then Ross.
Yeah. Because he would always catch
He would
Lester.
catch Lester, yep.
Johnny Lester. That's right.
Who caught Arrieta?
I want to say Montero probably did.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It wasn't Ross?
I don't think so.
Boy, Arrieta was good. Who was the starting 5 on the World Series win? That team.
Like the rotation that year?
Yeah.
Well, it was Hendricks led all of baseball in ERA that year, and then you had Lester and Arrieta, and then you had John Lackey.
Oh, that's right.
And then I think Jason Hamill was the 5th starter.
It's always funny to go back and see the starters on like teams that like when they won the World Series. There's always a guy you forget about, like Jason Hamill. Don't even like that guy could walk into any bar in Chicago and nobody would know it. Hey, I'm Jason Hamill. Great. What do you want to drink, man?
Like the Cardinals with Anthony Reyes.
Yeah, right.
Mr. Flatbill.
Who won the biggest game. He won in Detroit against a rookie, right? It was the only time 2 rookies started game 1 of a World Series, and he beat Justin Verlander in that game. Pujols took Verlander deep to right center. Anthony Reyes did one thing right, and it was win game 1 of the World Series in, 2006?
Yeah.
Wow. And then the Tigers, Brandon Inge, was that his name?
Yeah.
They decided to have 58 errors in a 5-game series. That was unbelievable.
Unreal.
That was the year my dad passed away. And I can remember I got really emotional. I was in Chicago for the final game, and my brother was like going. He was like in a different country, of course. And I had gone up because David Rio, a buddy of mine, and I were going to the Cardinals-Green Bay Packers game at Lambeau the next day. Well, we were leaving on a Saturday to spend the night and then go to the game Sunday. So this was a Friday night the Cardinals won the World Series. And I was at a place called Sedgwick's, which was a Cardinals bar in Chicago, the only one. And I just remember how cool it was. And I can remember, like, I had to stand on a chair to see because there were so many people in this place. And when the Cardinals won that, did Jeff Weaver pitch that game? Did he strike out a guy to end it? Or no. Was that the fly out to Craig?
Well, the guy who was on the mound to end it would have been Waino, right?
No, it was Waino. Wait, when did Mott end it? That was 11.
11.
I'm sorry. Kyle. I'm getting all our World Series confused.
Jeff Weaver
Waino.
started the
That's
game
right.
in the World Series.
Dream Weaver. But I can remember when we won that game, I just remember looking up to the sky, like to my dad, and I'm like, that's for you, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I started crying. I'll never forget that. And then it was like, woo, I think we were up till, there's a place in Chicago called The Store. It's open till 4 a.m. Because who doesn't need to be out till 4 a.m.? And we were. We were definitely out till 4 a.m. that night.
That's how you celebrate.
That was good. That was good stuff.
Got to catch a break. Put some more thoughts on Cardinals Cubs. Anything else you want to talk about?
We'll talk NBA.
217-359-2255. We can do that as well.
Okay. Somebody asked what the backup option with Ray J. Dennis would be for Illinois.
Okay.
I mean, because
need a point guard somehow.
I know. I was going to say,
need one.
You got the young man coming, the freshman coming in, right? Dre
Gibbs Lawhorn.
Is that it?
Probably more of a combo too. You got Nico Moretti.
Oh, I forgot about Nico. Let's go ahead and say I don't trust Nico this year. Oh, can we go that way? And then Andre
Justin
Curbelo.
Harmon's played a little bit on the ball.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Probably definitely more of a combo guard. Backup point guard.
Where's Curbelo? Is Curbelo leaving again?
Yeah.
Man.
I don't get the sense that Patino wanted him to stay.
What if he became the best proclamation? No, that's not what I'm trying to say.
Reclamation
project ever. I just had a Lonnie, get your adverbs here. I literally just had a view back to the Bill of Rights or whatever. Yeah, what if he became the biggest reclamation project ever and came back to Illinois his senior year and led us to a Big Ten title? Andre Curbelo.
I might have to write a book on it. I don't think I will. Need to.
What would you title that one?
Oh, man.
What would you title an Andre Curbelo book that he became an immediate sensation at Illinois? And then 8 schools later, seems like, he comes back to Illinois and wins, and you win at a high level and he plays unbelievable. He was the 6th man of the year, was that right?
He was.
And then he comes back and makes first team All Big Ten, leads the league in assists, averaging 9 a game. What would you call that? We'll have to ask the listeners on the U of I Atlantic text line. Nobody today on the Tapman's Towing phone line. So U of I Atlantic text line, 359-2255. What would you title the book if Andre Curbelo came back and led Illinois to, I don't know, a Big Ten title?
All right.
I'm going to give some thought to that.
Let's put you to it.
I like this.
We'll talk about this.
Old Hoss threw a no-hitter, by the way.
Lighting it up already. Get to these after the break. It is The Drive.
Next week on an all-new Law and Order.
Order! We convene here for case 217, Spring Green versus Weeds. Spring Green, the floor is yours.
The weeds are infectious. The weeds steal the beauty from your lawn. We offer personalized lawn care, a mid-season checkup, and a simple and transparent process. Just click on to spring-green.com for a quote.
Okay, Spring Green wins. Weeds, you're out.
That's spring-green.com.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window. And whatever your project, you can count on Kramer Siding to offer you the best products backed by the best warranties in the business and a lifetime of great customer service. And right now, you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks, get 15% off gutter helmet, and you can save 25% on preservation siding, windows, and doors. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com and let's get started on your project.
If you're looking for a pre-owned car, truck, or van, look no further than Sarah Champagne. You know them for their 5 incredible vehicle brands, the BMW, Honda, Subaru, Buick, and GMC. But did you know they also have over 100 used cars, trucks, and vans in stock right now? And at Sarah Champagne, they will take care of you. You can trust them. And prices begin at under $2,000. Stop by Sarah Champagne. They're Burwash and Savoy, or go online, sarahchampagne.com. That's Sarah, S-E-R-R-A, champagne.com.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Norm Miller here, chairman of Interstate Batteries. You know, without batteries, life would be pretty lifeless. That's why Interstate All Battery Centers carry them in every size, shape, and style so you can drive, drill, call, film, or do whatever it is you want to do. Stop in today. They've got the power to keep you going. Interstate All Battery Center. Outrageously dependable.
Interstate All Battery Center. You'll find them outrageously dependable just over Interstate 74 at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign, with batteries for most every application in stock.
Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company is looking for drivers with their CDL and great driving record to join their team. What a terrific company, invested in so many charities in our community and giving their staff opportunities for growth, health and dental insurance, paid time off for vacations, holidays, and family leave. This is the type of environment you've been looking for, drivers. Of course, Pepsi is an equal opportunity employer as they search for a good representative of the company to help with deliveries. Learn more online at PepsiColaCU.com.
Urbana Park District has job openings for the summer, hiring camp counselors, assistants, lifeguards, customer service representatives, ground and building positions, and more. Everyone is welcome to apply for a job, and the Park District offers competitive wages, always hiring not only for seasonal jobs, but for jobs year-round. Urbana Park District, you belong here. Online applications taken at urbanaparks.org/jobs.
Everyone's excited about the warmer weather. Let Greenview get it going for you. You want to enjoy your outdoor space, not work in it? Make Greenview your call for all jobs, big or small. Have Greenview plant a tree or garden for that special mother in your life for Mother's Day. And prom is around the corner. Imagine the photos with a Greenview flower bed exploding with color as the background. Greenview wants to help you and your yard. Go to greenview.com for details.
Illini pizza fans, Jets Pizza has been making the best pizza on the planet for 40 years. They've always been committed to quality, like hand-pressed dough, fresh mozzarella, and sauce made from Mama Jet's secret family recipe. All baked to perfection. It takes more work, but take one bite and you'll get it. Right now, enjoy 3 types of pepperoni with the new Triple-Roni Pizza for just $16.99. And this is a limited-time deal, so visit jetspizza.com. And don't forget to flavorize your crust for free, like their famous Turbo Crust. Jets, better because it has to be.
PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B and Stevie J Broadcasting, and you are listening to the amazing ESPN Radio 93.5.
Back on the drive with Sam Piper, Derek Piper, Lonte, Kyle Tosk. A few of you have weighed in on the U of I Atlanta League text line regarding a title for a book for Andre Curbelo to come back to Illinois and lead them to a Big Ten title.
I like Brad's.
Brad has a really good one. Hard pass. Wade says turnovers to tournament.
I like that.
And Russ said that would be a miracle, would be the title of the book.
Yeah. I still haven't thought of what I would call it. I really liked Andre Curbelo. But, man, that concussion changed everything.
Yeah, it did.
It really changed everything. Do you think that ruined his game? Could a concussion do that much damage to you? I'm being dead serious. I'm not making light of this. Because he hasn't been the same since.
He hasn't been the same. No. And
as a player, I mean, I don't
he had, obviously, some turnover issues before the concussion. And I think even just stepping into a new role where he was under a very bright spotlight as a sophomore.
Big time.
And he embraced it almost, I think, too much. I think he became more of a showman and cared about the highlight clips and making the fancy pass that would go viral on Twitter, trying to make a SportsCenter highlight moment out of every single play versus just making the simple read as a point guard. And his jump shot needed to improve too. But, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I don't know everything that he's gone through. And you see him at St. John's, like, wearing the tinted glasses. I have to think. I'd heard that part of his symptoms when he was trying to work his way back to playing after the concussion was that he would get, like, dizzy on the floor. The lights would bother him when he was practicing. So people go through all kinds of different experiences coming off a concussion. So he had some pretty drastic symptoms and an experience with that. I don't think it's all concussion, but I think that it obviously derailed pretty significantly what was going on.
I agree. I totally agree. And it's too bad. It's just too bad because you look at what the Cardinals, the Illinois issue has been the last couple of years, it's point guard. And you had him. You had your guy. And he just didn't. I mean, you look at last year's team. Now, do you probably get Sky Clark if Curbelo's here and playing well into his...
I think you'd make that trade.
You're right. Right. But if Curbelo still was going like on an ascension,
right,
then I think, if he would have continued to get a little bit better each year from what he showed you as a freshman, you would have been in good hands at point guard for 4 years.
Yeah, 100%.
And for it to go wrong, then it almost left them scrambling a little bit for who was your point guard 2 years ago? Trent?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, that recruiting class of 2020, when you bring in Andre Curbelo and Adam Miller at the same time, that's supposed to be the passing of the torch from Io and Trent.
That's right.
And those guys in the backcourt, you can throw in Andres Feliz as well. Those were supposed to be your next, at least for the next 2 or 3 years, the guys you lean on quite a bit and would take that as they're the next version of what's been high-level guard play in Champaign. And Adam was gone after 1 year and Curbelo after 2, and you just didn't realize that potential.
And then
both have hit the portal multiple times.
Yeah. Then you turned to a couple of freshmen after you had so much experience with Trent Frazier and
Plummer was back there.
So you had so much experience there, and then all of a sudden 2 freshmen, now they're both gone. Now you want to go back to that experience, and that's where this Ray J. Dennis, am I saying that right?
Yes.
Yeah, Ray J. Dennis would be huge. I mean, did you answer that? Is there a backup to him if Illinois doesn't get him?
I'm sure that the staff has thought about it, but to my knowledge, I can't pinpoint a certain guy.
Okay.
And we'll see if there's any other additions here in the next couple of days as far as the portal goes, but I think they're fully focused on getting Ray J. Dennis, and that's pretty much their primary focus.
Is there a chance that he's basically given them a soft yes, but he wants to hear from other teams?
Yeah, I think there's a chance of that for sure.
Be interesting. Okay, well, I certainly hope.
You would just hope that similar to, if you could make it work this way, Marcus Damask, Justin Harmon, he takes one visit to your place, commits, and it's not like, I'm going to visit Illinois, I'm going to visit Baylor, I'm going to go see what UCLA is talking about, and like leave it open for it to be a situation where Illinois has been waiting on some things to align.
I'd rather hear yes or no.
Right. And you got to make this one click, otherwise we'll see.
I mean, we saw what it was like to play without strong point guards last year. And if I do not want to do that again. Not that Ray J is going to come in here and save the world by any means, but he's a pretty solid veteran point guard. And, I mean, this is the tricky part about this is if you're Brad Underwood and this staff, you're like, I got to know. Because if you don't come, then we really got to get into scramble mode here. So, I don't know. That's
Will
tricky.
Kerr Kriisa be available again with Bob Huggins in West Virginia?
Oh. Yeah, you played the Bob Huggins thing.
We listened to the soundbite. We cannot replay it.
That was not good on Bob's part. Not good at all. So.
He might be done.
He may be, honestly. That was bad. Hey, Cliff from Urbana earlier in the show when we were talking Cardinals. The Cardinals pitchers with 2 strikes have given up 21 home runs.
Jeez.
That doesn't even seem possible. And then entering last week, they had one of the best batting averages for a team. They just can't hit with runners on. I mean, they're runners in scoring. They're RISP. I'd hate to see what it is. I'm sure you can look it up. I want, if you're old enough, I want everybody to listen to the infamous Lee Elia rant tonight before this Cub Cardinal game. You've never heard it.
I don't think so.
It is classic. It is classic. It happened in 1983. It was April 29th. We just missed the anniversary. 1983. He went off like there was nobody in the stands hardly at Wrigley, but the ones that were there were like booing the team, and the team was bad.
I think I have heard this.
Oh my goodness. It is the best. I've got to hear it again. I've got to play it after we're done here. I want to hear this. It's awesome. All right, Cubs Cardinals. Who you got?
I'm going to say.
Does Miles finally pitch like an ace?
No. No, he does not. The Cardinals are going to have to hope that their strong numbers against Stroman continue, because I think that Miles gets hit around a decent amount and runs will have to be scored tonight to win. I know Wednesday is Steele against Montgomery, I believe, the two best pitchers for both squads. That's a tough one. Steele's ERA is like 1.29 or something like that. And then tomorrow, is Flaherty going for us tomorrow? I say us.
Tyone versus Flaherty tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah. Battle of 5+ ERAs.
So when does Montgomery pitch?
Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
So to tie it together a little bit better, Michaelis versus Stroman tonight. Tomorrow you have Tyone against Flaherty, and then Wednesday you have Steele against Jordan Montgomery.
Okay.
I think the Cubs win 2 of 3.
Okay. Those are actually pretty good pitching matchups.
Except for tonight.
Well,
if you're talking about evening it out.
Right. Listen, I would be the Cardinals, first of all, have not won a first game of a series yet. So the betting money would strongly favor the Cubs winning tonight. And I can't tell you the last time they won a series. Have they won a series this year? They tied the Pirates.
They won the first series of
Toronto,
the year, right?
Toronto. That's right. They lost the opener, won the next two, and since then have not won a series, I don't think, all season.
And they still haven't won the opening game of a series.
Still have not won an opening. They're 0 for what, 12, 13?
Bet the Cubs.
It is so strange. I mean, that's got to end, right?
It's got to end.
It'll end against the Cubs, of course.
Yeah. Well, it'll end when I decide to bet the other team to win. Then the Cardinals will come out and score 12 to 1.
I want to re-answer. I know we got to catch a break here, but you asked a question earlier in the show.
Yeah.
Is this the last chance to get bought back in on this Cardinals team?
You got 3 at Wrigley, 3 at Fenway. Be fun to watch just playing at those iconic
I'd say
stadiums.
probably yes.
Okay.
I'll be honest, there's a big part of me that, and I don't probably really mean this, but I really want John Mozeliak on.
Okay.
Like, to the point of sacrificing this season. If you told me the Cardinals can either rally and sneak into the wild card and get bounced in the first round again, go 9-10 years with one playoff series win, or they can bottom out and finish last, or maybe they can finish 4th and Ollie's gone, Mozeliak's gone. I'll take that one all day.
I'm with you on that.
Now, it would ruin my summer.
Yeah, right.
Because there's barely after the NBA playoffs finish up, and even now, I'm more geared into baseball.
You and I better figure out
what are you going to do.
We better take up golf in a hurry.
Yeah, so that part of it would stink to not have a reason to tune into a Cubs game. Like, I know that Trevor's talked about it, and Kyle can probably relate. When you have lost seasons and it's late June and July, and you don't even care to turn on the game anymore, that part would stink.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would rather see the bottom out and the changes that need to be made versus the quote-unquote fake rally and let them get back into a postseason picture that they won't do anything in anyway.
That's fair. I'm with you on that. I think that's very fair, and I'd be the same way. It would ruin the summer, but, I'm busy enough. Like, every weekend we're going to be playing baseball games and such, and all of June is basketball. So I'm busy enough to where I'm good with tanking the season. In fact, I'm good with the Arizona Cardinals tanking the season too. I'm good with literally having a year of suck because the Blues weren't very good. They're in cap space. You know what? Arizona has Just get the number one pick next year. Do not even attempt to win a game. Don't even attempt to win a football game. That will tick me off if they...
As long as you don't hire Lovie Smith, you'll be good.
And then the St. Louis, all of my professional teams, putrid. Hey, I'll give you a reason to watch something about hockey tonight. That's the tease for when we come back. Is that fair?
Pretty good. Stick around. Get to that. It is The Drive.
See the showroom top designer shop. Flooring Surface is your first stop. Amazing selection, price, and style on hardwoods, laminates, carpet, and tile. Low prices on high fashion. Step up the flooring that gets a wow reaction. See the showroom top designer shop. Flooring Surface is your first stop. Flooring Surface is your first stop.
Flooring Surfaces now offers beautiful window fashions. Our interior design team will custom fit shade, shutters, and blinds to any size opening. Visit the showroom to see the latest fashions from Graber and Hunter Douglas, or request an in-home consultation. Whether it's floors or windows, Flooring Surfaces has you covered. See us today at 401 Mercury Drive in Champaign.
See the showroom top designer shop. Flooring Surface is your first stop. Flooring Surface is your first stop.
Ready for an exciting change? At Merle Norman, we can take your look from ordinary to extraordinary in a matter of minutes. Our innovative skincare, perfectly matched foundations, and on-trend colors will make a difference that's written all over your face. Come in and see what a makeover can do. We'll help select the products that are just right for you, and we'll teach you tips that the pros know about applying your most flattering shades. Ask for your free express makeover today, calling 217-359-8100, or visit 706 West Market View Drive in Champaign.
Here's the deal. When you combine State Farm home and auto insurance, you save an average of $889. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is ready to help you combine home and auto and save right here in Champaign-Urbana. Call 352-1411 today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Average annual per household savings based on a 2019 national survey by State Farm of new policyholders who reported savings by switching to State Farm.
Hi, I'm Tyler Weaver, president of Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery. It's time to come home to Carpet Weavers. We don't want you to just like your new floors. We want you to love them. From waterproof floors and carpet to furnitures and design advice, we've got a team of experts on your side. We'll get you the best price and the best quality products. And complete your home with furniture and accessories. Buy it all with free financing too. Come home to Carpet Weavers, where floors, furniture, and family meet.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, bringing us our Stevie J Broadcasting Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
From Champaign County Sheriff Deputy Andy Livingston.
Did you always have kind of a passion for law enforcement? Were you thinking, I'll do this for a living?
You know what? At first, it wasn't law enforcement, but I knew I wanted to help the community in some way. But definitely after I got into the military and got out or was on the back half of that, I knew I wanted to serve, and this was the right place for me.
Awesome.
Is it accurate to say that you and all of your brothers and sisters in law enforcement are simply wanting to help people on not their best day?
Absolutely. I mean, majority of the people we deal with it's their worst day ever. So, people say, a lot of officers say the reason they join is to help people. It's a cliche answer, but it's a genuine answer at that.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our Law Enforcement Official of the Month.
When you know you've got a problem and something's bugging you, call on American Pest Control and take control. You be wise, Americanized. Call on American Pest Control. That's how you get back in control. Call American Pest Control. American Pest Control. No more bugs to bug you. Take control.
Kids may love bugs, but we don't. It's time now for a free, no-obligation termite inspection. American Pest Control has now installed the Centricon Colony Elimination System to over 3,000 homes right here in central Illinois. The Centricon system not only blocks the termites' progress, Centricon provides complete colony elimination. Get their home before they get yours. Call us today.
Call American Pest Control. American Pest Control. No more bugs to bug you. Take control.
Let Max Twin City Recycling pay you for your junk metal items.
As the weather begins to heat up, now is a great time to put cash in your pocket for the steel, copper, brass, and aluminum items you've been meaning to get rid of. We've recently added a large concrete pad to make unloading quicker and cleaner for our customers. Visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just north of I-74, or at maxrecycling.com.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B. Catch my boys Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Drive. Boom, boom, brr.
Stage is yours, Lante. Why you should pay attention to the NHL tonight.
If you're a Blackhawks fan especially, tonight is the draft lottery.